Why, hello there. Hi. I like that this channel is making me really think about what I'm doing in a more intentional way, because I filmed a video earlier today and I actually uploaded it to this channel, but I didn't like it. I didn't like where I was going with it. I felt like I was kind of just unloading onto you all that I was really confused and that I didn't know right from wrong and up from down, and sometimes I get in my head and I get really confused, and that's nobody's fault. And I think that that is like the theme for this video, is about blame and like fault and like ownership of responsibility. So I will say that I was really depressed on Saturday and Sunday. No, sorry. Sunday and Monday. Today is Tuesday. I was like really, really depressed on Sunday and Monday. And there's some things about how I dealt with my depression that I haven't like taken full responsibility for. And like, I know you guys don't care, like you don't know me, or you do, and like maybe you care, but you're like watching this like a month after this incident has even occurred or whatever. So this is what I want to say. I'm going to say that 1, I'm responsible for my own depression, and 2, I'm responsible that I know there are a series of triggers that can pull me deeper and deeper into a hole, and I have a responsibility to get myself out of that hole. And it's not like, even if I feel like there are people in this world who I would die for, even if there are people in this world who I feel like I love them more than myself, and I would drop anything at a drop of a hat and be there for them. Those people, those same people, and any people don't owe the opposite to do so for me. Just got a little fumbly with my words. But what I'm trying to say is, like, you can have a framework and you can have your values in life, but like other people don't have those same values. And like, if somebody is not able to return the level of investment or whatever you're putting into them, that is not their fault. That's them being a different person than you. And I think that that's something, that's actually why I really appreciate this forum, this medium, this space, being able to talk at myself, because I'm recognizing in doing so that I'm not right about certain things. Even questions that I'm raising, if I like listen back to those questions, I'm beginning to understand that some of those questions are wrong. Like the framing is wrong. I'm responsible for myself, and I think that that's something that I honestly just struggle with. And that's like scary for me to admit on here or to anybody, because that's like kind of messed up that I like expect other people to be responsible for me. And you know what? I do want to live in a different world. I want to live in a world where my neighbor is like gonna, scratch my back like for no reason. And I want to live in a world that's community based and where we all just like help each other out and blah, 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 blah. But that's like not the world that we live in. And many people have different ways of how they survive in this crazy mess of a life that we live in. And when I am at my lowest of the low, when I was depressed yesterday, I really wanted a specific person to just understand, like to just magically be in my brain and see like how bad it was, and know that they could make a difference, and for them to do that, for them to just come to me and be kind and tell me that it was going to be okay, and that they were going to make time for me, and that it was just going to be about me for a few hours or something. And it made me bitter in the moment that, that there was kind of a struggle there, that I was asking for something and I was told that it was hard for this person to be giving. And this isn't the first time that this has happened. I respond with bitterness, and it comes from a bad place, like, it comes from a place of me really not understanding that I can't expect anything from anyone, and like, I have to be responsible for myself. Like, even my family, like, even the people who birthed me on this planet, like, even my, like, if I was married or something, like, even my husband or wife, like, even my children, whatever, like, ultimately we are all individuals and we all have shit going on of our own. And I do think that I like kind of wish things was different. Like, I like do really wish that like we all stuck our necks out a little bit further. But just because I wish that doesn't mean that that's what people owe to me. Even if somebody loves me, right? Like, even if they're my brother or my sister or my next of kin or whatever, like, even if somebody like loves me so much, even if they're my soulmate, my lifelong partner, like, they've told me that, like, they're with me, they've been married to me for like 20 years, even if somebody loves me, they can have their own shit that takes them away from being able to be there for me. And they don't owe that to me. And like, yes, at the same time, we are altruistic creatures, and I think that that's a big reason why we do tend to rely on each other to the extent that we do, because people do rely on each other. It's a reality. But like, if somebody's not able to give me their time, if they're not, in the right position for that, mentally or physically or whatever, that's something that I have to accept, and that's not their fault. It's not my fault either. Like, it's okay for you to ask. Like, it's okay for me to reach out for somebody and ask for help. And for the most part in my life, when I've done that, that's been received very well. And I want to tell you, whoever you are, you are watching, if you are somebody who deals with depression like me, and you can get to a really dark place, reaching out can really help. And I've known people who tell me directly that reaching out doesn't help, but they've had a change of heart because they've noticed that it actually does, and that it's just really hard to be vulnerable and take that step because of what I'm saying, that like, nobody owes us anything, and you reaching out might not be well received. But like, I'm here to tell you that 99% of the time, if I reach out to people, like, they are there for me. And it's not like, it's not like they're there for me exactly in the way that I need them to, because it's like, obviously it's a different person, and they have, they have to come to things the way that they come to things, using their own value system and their own schedule and whatnot. But like, people do make time for you and space for you. If you give that into the world, like, that does come back to you. But you cannot expect it, and it is nobody's fault if they are unable to give it. And I think that that's just something that I've been struggling with the last few days. And in a couple of my last encounters with a couple different people, I think that they've noticed some kind of level of expectation that's unfair, or self-righteous or like, well, I would do this in that situation, so I don't understand why you're not giving that to me. For example, the other day, my friend and I went to dinner, and you know what? I've just been having a rough week. Just gonna say it. But like, that doesn't mean that it's their fault. Like, it's, I'm not gonna, like, this is not about a blame game. Like, if I had to choose, right, it's my fault. Like, I'm the one who's depressed. I'm the one who's irritable. I'm the one who's dealing with what I'm dealing with. And, you still owe people grace, and you still need to uphold your values even when you're at your worst. Like, and I don't know how to do that. Like, I think that I just, really don't know how to do that. I'm lucky that I'm not somebody who is violent towards other people. I'm, very quick to cry over the angry thing, So, like, I feel like people have never in my life been scared of me, which is maybe lucky because both are emotions, right? Crying and anger, but one is really violent and it's not okay. So anyway, this is like getting on a whole tangent. But so my friend and I were getting dinner, and he gets a phone call, and I already know like all these things about my friend, right? I know that like he tends to prioritize work stuff over relationship stuff. I don't even know if that's fair to say. That's like historically who he was. Maybe he was that 5 years ago. Like, I don't know if he's that now. But right, I have like these things built up in my head. That's like, this is who this person is. And that's not fair, having prescribed judgments about a person. But anyway, so he gets a phone call and it's work related. And we're about to walk into the restaurant. And he's like, I'm going to take this phone call. And I was like, okay. And I stood outside for a few minutes, and then I was like, I'm just going to go in the restaurant. Like, we've gone to this place a number of times, and it was BYOB, and I poured us wine. Actually, I have wine here. I don't know why I'm not drinking it. I should be. Old, super old. Ooh. Actually, maybe I should not be drinking this wine. This might be like a headache waiting to happen. I don't know. Oh, I want it though. I like it. Oh, it's kind of bad though. Anyway, so I'm sitting there drinking my wine. I poured him a glass of wine. I actually ordered for the both of us. And then the food comes out, and he's still like outside on the phone, and I was just like, it was just building within me this like, right, this expectation that my friend should be valuing me more, this thing building up in my mind, like, and also on top of it, like, I have a lot of insecurities, right? So I'm sitting there worried that people are like looking at me and thinking that like I'm at this place alone and that I am just eating a meal for two by myself, or that like I was supposed to meet a date and they didn't show up because this is the kind of person I am and this is what I deserve. Like there's all these like thoughts running through my head. Like people are looking at me and like thinking about my body, and then they're thinking like, oh, well, of course that person wouldn't show up on the date or something. Like all these like ridiculous thoughts are like going through my head. And I just like couldn't stop the frustration anymore. So I like went outside the restaurant and I looked at him and I was like, so this is an emergency, right? And I like said it in like this really like he said that it was like comical the way that I said it, that I was like, this is an emergency, right? Like really like obviously super flustered and frustrated. And he like kind of nodded at me, and then like 5 or 10 minutes later, like the phone call like still like took a while for him to finish, and then he like came in and he told me that he felt like I was being passive aggressive and sarcastic in my actions. And I was like annoyed with that because I was like, you just like left me like by myself at this restaurant for like 20 to 30 minutes, and like I feel like an idiot. Like I'm just like, but like I've been thinking about it, I've been turning it over in my head, because this is not the, like, that incident is, like, connected to things that I was told a lot in my previous relationship about me acting like I'm better, or, like, acting like other people should just have the values that I have, and that if they don't, that there's, like, something wrong with them. And that's not okay. Like, just because I'm depressed, the world doesn't owe me anything. Like, I'm responsible for my own depression. And, like, I had so many opportunities yesterday and on Sunday to take steps to make my situation better, and I didn't take them. And my situation got worse. And, like, I take ownership of that. And I'm not saying, I think this is, like, where it could get into, like, bad territory. Like, I'm not saying that you should just be able to not be depressed, because I don't know what I deal with. I think, you know, I've talked on this channel before. Maybe I have a mood disorder. I don't know. I don't know what I deal with. But I do know that there has been a time in my life where I was dealing with clinical depression, and, you know, I know that, like, it gets to a point, it's not, like, your fault. It's, like, nobody's fault, I think is what I'm saying. Like, it can get to a point where you can't get out of bed. You can't even get out of bed to go to the bathroom. And that's how I felt yesterday. And maybe I'm not responsible for getting that low, but nobody else is responsible for that either. And putting that expectation out on other people, like, you don't understand how bad it is, like, why can't you just be there for me? Like, putting that expectation out on other people is unfair. And I truly think that it's unfair. And I don't know how to change. I don't know how to be the person who doesn't do that. I don't know how to just accept it, I think, in the moment. I think I've gotten better about it. I don't know, you can tell me if you're watching this, somebody who knows me. But I'm still bad about it. Like, I think people have, like, a responsibility to be there for me. And it's very much so related to the fact that I will be there for them. And that's, like, how I see the world. You know, I, like, want us to live in a different world. But they don't. Like, maybe in the case of, like, a friendship or a relationship where there is some kind of transaction. I don't know. Like, I think I can't figure it out. Because, like, with friendships, right, like, you can create that. With any relationship, you can create, like, these are the, like, even, okay, say, like, something like cheating, right? Like, if I can get mad at somebody for cheating on me because there was a boundary there that was created, where we said we weren't going to do that, and that it's called cheating if we do that. So I think that where there's a transaction, like, where there's expectations that are, like, part of whatever the relationship is, then you can hold those maybe to other people. I think. Oh man, now I'm getting off track, now I'm confused again. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, like, you are responsible for you. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, this is probably also related to a conversation around community accountability and that kind of a thing. So I wonder how it's all connected, because I do think that as community members, we are accountable to our systems and breaking them down and making space for each other and that kind of a thing. And throughout this video, I've been talking in a super individualistic way, which is, like, unlike me. But I'm trying to do better, I guess, is the thing. I'm trying to take responsibility for what I should be responsible for. And at the same time, not be a complete, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, at the same time, I, you know, don't want to expect nothing at all if I should be expecting things. Because that's one thing, if I do enter in a relationship again, or Even in friendships, like, that is something I wonder, like, what do we owe to each other? And I really don't know, but when it comes to depression, like, specifically depression, nobody quite understands what we're going through. So, expecting that is a lot to expect from somebody. So, I don't know, I guess I'm trying to figure out how to navigate it, and I'm trying to take ownership of my own stuff, and I'm sorry, like, guys, I'm sorry if I've put that onto you, and I've been passive-aggressive, and I've been sarcastic, and I've been self-righteous, and I've been all these things, which of course I can be. I don't think I'm right. I think I'm wrong all the time. And I want to learn. So, there's that. Alright, well, I'll talk to you guys later, and thank you for watching if you watched, and you are loved. I'm just gonna put that out there today. You are loved, and it goes deep. The love for you goes deep. It always will. Okay, bye guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day.